for this recipe I have here some chicken stock, some oil, parboiled brown rice, red beans that have been soaked overnight. You can use the canned ones if you want, chopped onions, chopped garlic, some hot pepper, which is optional. I'm using some seasoning salt, which is optional, some scallions and some salt and black pepper, and 2 cups of coconut milk. I will list the ingredients with the correct measurement down below in the description box. So let's get started on preparing this dish. To a pot that's warm, add in some oil and let that heat up. When your oil is hot, add in your onions. And we're just doing this step instead of putting everything to boil so that we can add more flavor into our rice and beans. Just let this saute a little until it starts to soften. My onions have started to turn translucent, and I'm going to add in my garlic and the pepper. And if you want, you can use pimento pepper when it started. Just let this saute a little until the garlic starts to turn a light brown color. I'm going to add in my scallions. Now usually you add thyme to this, but it's raining outside and I can't get to the fine thyme, so I'm going to add some dried ones. And you just need a little bit because the dried one is more potent than the fresh. Now I'm adding in my beans. I'm going to add in my seasoned salt. A little bit of salt and some black pepper. Give this a mix. Now I'm going to add in my chicken stock, or you can use vegetable stock. And I'm going to add in the coconut milk. And we're going to bring this up to a boil, and once it starts to boil, we'll knock the heat back to simmer and let those beans cook until they just start to soften. We don't want it to get too soft because remember, when you add the rice, it will continue to cook. Okay, now that it has come up to a boil, I'm going to knock that heat back to medium low or low and let this simmer until the beans start to soften. So I just checked my beans and they are where I want it to be. Now they're not very soft. You can put your fingernail through it, but they're not very soft. And I'm going to leave it like this and add my rice to this because I want to maintain the integrity of the red bean. If I were to let it cook any longer, it would get soft, and then when you put the rice in, that's additional cooking. So when I put the rice in at this point and it cooks, it will be perfect by the time it's finished. So I just washed my rice, and you want to wash your rice until the water runs clear because you want to get all that starch from the rice out. If you don't, your peas and rice will come out very sticky, and we want this to be more of a grainy consistency. So now I'm going to add this to the pot. Just mix it in, and you want to bring this up to a boil. So if your heat was on low, you want to raise your heat and bring it up to a boil, and then we'll continue with the next step. Okay, now that this has come up to a boil, I'm going to cover it. And we're going to leave this to cook. You don't want to keep turning it because if you do, you're just going to develop more of those starches. So you just want to leave it on medium heat and let it cook until it's finished. So it has been half an hour since I covered my pot, so I'm just going to go in and take a peep and see how it's looking. And that liquid has dried up quite a bit, so I'm going to leave this covered. I'm going to leave the heat on very low, and I'm just going to let this sit in here for about another 20 minutes. Okay, the 20 minutes is up. I'm going to take the rice off. I'm going to take the cover off. And now using a fork, I'm going to just fluff up the rice. You're doing this so that it's nice and grainy. And you see how nice the rice looks? This is ready to be served. And mine has perfect salt. If I didn't mention, I tasted it before I covered it, and it has enough salt, so make sure before you cover it for it to cook, you taste it for salt. So here you have it, my Jamaican rice and peas recipe. The chicken stock and the seasoning salt really makes a difference with the flavor and the taste of this dish. I hope you guys try this recipe. Make it and let me know down below if you like it. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all another day with another one of my recipes. Enjoy!